Rise and shine every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon with DJ J, Miss Mello, and Lady D on The Outlet.
Guys, we have a special guest here because The Outlet is all about the community, right? We always want to highlight the good that people are doing in the community. We want to give you guys resources so that you can go out into the community and, either give back or take, right, from whatever everybody's putting out. And, so that's what The Outlet is really all about. And I had the pleasure of getting introduced to this Miss Leila.
Thank you, Lady D.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Lady D, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We luckily had the opening, and when I found out what the event was that you were trying to push, and the agenda that you have, I felt like it was really, really necessary for our listeners and for the community to know that there is someone out there doing this type of work and where they can find, help or knowledge from. So
thank you.
Just go ahead and introduce yourself very quickly.
Yes. My name is Leila Nassar, and I am the co-chair of Lehigh Valley Breastfeeding Coalition. I'm a lactation consultant, and I work at LVBC Pediatrics. But I'm here to talk about a lot of our breastfeeding events and about what our Breastfeeding Coalition does for our community.
Awesome. And just a little background, because I always like to know what type of connection the person has, the personal connection they have to the community, like your background and your upbringing and kind of like really why this means so much to you.
So I'm actually a first-generation Arab American. I came to this country back in 1974, and my hometown was Allentown. I lived down in the downtown area by the Tillman Street, and Ridge Avenue and Fulton Avenue area, which was more of the Arabic community.
Yep, Syrian City, we called it.
Syrian cities. So that's where I came up. Brought here with my mom, dad, and all my brothers. My parents came to this country trying to give us a better life, especially with all the upcoming wars coming up in Lebanon. So they flee to come here to give us all a better life for our family. They worked excessively hard, day and night, to help us succeed. So their goal was that we get a great education and we thrive in this country. So both of my parents had passed away many years ago. My mom died actually when I was 14.
Wow.
So growing up as a young Arabic girl, in a house of all boys.
Oh, my gosh.
Was not an easy thing. It was an amazing thing, but
I bet you're a tough cookie.
Yes, I had to become mommy hen, sister hen, and, the whole Arabic too. And I guess you see that in a lot of cultures, the strictness, you had to stay home and take care of everything and take care of everyone. So
home, yeah.
But my goal and commitment was to make sure I got my education. So that was the most important thing for me. I needed to make sure I found a way to get my education, which I worked very, very hard for, to be able to go to El Tri-C. And I saw you went, Lady D, to El Tri-C.
I am. I graduate soon.
Yes.
And my son is going now.
So I went to El Tri-C because, I was at home. I had to take care of the family, so I couldn't go far away. Got my associate's degree in applied science and became a medical assistant. Well, a few years in, working in a pediatric office, I was pregnant with my first son.
Okay.
And they're like, ooh, who'd like to learn something about breastfeeding? Being this young girl and enthusiastic, I wanted to do everything I can in this world. That was my whole goal.
Yeah.
I'm like, me, please send me. So I went and I did a class and learned about breastfeeding. And I said, oh my God, this is going to be great because I'm going to have my son and I'm going to know everything. I got this down.
Right.
So I did a so many course and learned about breastfeeding. This was back in, he's 27 now. And it was back in the 90s. And I took this course. They gave me my son at the hospital and they're like, here, breastfeed him. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? I have no clue. And my husband's like, did you just learn breastfeeding in so many weeks course? Like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? Hysterical crying. And, you're young. I was probably about 22 when I had him. And, trying to figure out this whole thing. And it was difficult. It was not easy. I had some great family support. The Arabic culture is so family bound and everything else. But it was just difficult. And I was not as successful as I was, and we didn't have these great machines now that we have to pump milk and everything
Yeah.
else. So then I had my daughter, and at that time they were 23 months apart, and had even a harder time because I'm running around with the little one, trying to breastfeed her, trying to add. So I had a very difficult time. Started doing more breastfeeding more, and then 10 years ago I actually sat for an international exam and became an internationally board certified lactation consultant.
Wow.
And at that point my career started to move forward in our office, and I wanted to build a great big breastfeeding community within our community. We had just a few lactation consultants around. There wasn't too many. And my goal was, I know I had a hard time. I wanted to be able to help those moms because I didn't have mainly the great, even though I knew what I was supposed to be doing, I didn't have the great support of lactation consultants.
Yes.
I didn't have someone to help me. You know, we didn't have these government things where it says now, you know, insurance companies cover pumps and everything else.
It's true,
You
yeah.
know, we had these handout things that broke your hand afterwards, and you're like, I don't want to do this.
It's true.
So I started growing in my career, and I started loving more what I did because I think my whole life I've always wanted to be a supporter of women and making them stronger for who they are.
You wanted to play a role in that, one way or the other.
Because my mother taught me how to be a strong woman. She was an excessively, God rest her soul.
Making her proud, Leila.
She made her proud. She went through every diversity I could think of, you know, back home, and coming here and raising her family and teaching us the great ideas of love, life, family,
Yes.
devotion, and everything. So she had that instilled in me, and I'm like, how can I bring that out more to other women? How can I make women love themselves more, love being a mother more? Because I love being a mother. I have the two most amazing children in the world, and I adore like anything. Even now as grown adults, I admire them more than anything.
Yes.
So I started to grow more and more.
Okay.
Then many years ago, when we founded Lehigh Valley Breastfeeding Coalition, someone called me up and said, hey, Leila, I see you're out here, you're a consultant. You know, your name's starting to spread around the community and all. Would you like to come join us? We want to start this coalition. We want to promote breastfeeding in our community. And I'm like, oh, I'm on it. You know, anyone
Yeah.
that tells me do something, I'm on it.
All over it.
I am all over. I'm like, I got this. I could do this. Just tell me what I need to do.
Yes.
So we founded this coalition many years ago. It's probably about over 6 years ago.
Okay.
And what we did is we tried to connect all hospitals, all businesses, all healthcare providers within this community to try to create a better breastfeeding friendly Lehigh Valley. So as I started growing with even the coalition, a lot of changes came about. My own life started to grow. My own successes started to grow. You know, I started becoming more successful in my career. I built this breastfeeding practice within our LVPG practices that
Okay.
grew and started growing. And I'm like, oh my God, this is more exciting, you know?
Wow.
I'm out there.
Yeah.
I hear people, I see people. But two, I
creating.
wanted to give back to a lot of our community because I started sitting around thinking, okay, you know, if you have money, you could find where to get the help, right?
Right.
You have insurance, you have the great ability to find me. I can help you, you know, because you had the insurance, you had that. Then I thought back, it's like, how about the people that don't have that?
That's
how about
right.
those mothers that really struggle
Yes.
and don't have the help?
Yes.
That was, I think, my biggest thing. And that's something I think as always my whole life. I think growing up in this town, coming to this country, you know, coming from a well-off family in Lebanon, but coming here and having a struggle
Yeah.
to survive. I saw the struggles. I grew up in the neighborhood, you know, went to Harrison and Sheridan and Deeroff, and
Same
I saw
here.
all the struggles.
Yes.
But I
And
knew
even
I
as
could
a
make a success.
teenage, I'm sorry to cut you off, Leila,
No.
but even as a teenage mom, we have that. You know, there was a major increase in the
absolutely.
numbers of teenage moms. I
Sure.
was one of them. I was pregnant at 16.
Wow,
And
yes.
me and my mother did not have that type of connection where she was like
Motherly.
a grand help, you know,
Yes.
in that process. And so then I remember it was like one of my aunts, you know, that just randomly asked me about breastfeeding.
Yes.
And I was like, well, no, I don't know anything about it. I had the baby at home now for, you know, maybe a week. And she took the time, you know, to take me into my room and show me. But if if she would have never visited, I would
wouldn't
have
have
had
that.
no idea. I would have thought the wick and the formula was, the right
Absolutely.
option. And I mean, not that it's not. I'm not nothing against that. But
no, absolutely
if you can,
not. If
you
can,
should.
absolutely. And you
So
actually
go
hit
ahead.
it right on the point. And I
Yeah.
think that is why I started doing more and loving more what I do, because mothers like you, I know could use the help. And that's a lot of my mothers saying, I don't have my family support. I don't have support of my family. So I always tell everyone I become almost like their mother, their best friend, their sister.
Yeah,
I'm their
confidants.
advocate. I'm everything they are, because when I'm in there and I'm all up in your breast, my dear,
Yeah.
and helping you, you get a connection. And I have
Sure.
so many mothers who struggle, whether they are younger. I have a
Yeah.
lot of my older moms who are educated but don't have any support.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not actually just, the young, the uneducated, or the young and the educated, or the older, the uneducated. It is a combination of everyone, because I think what has happened a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I see the big thing that's going on, especially in our world, there's not so much family support. We don't have a good
Yeah.
family connection.
It's
You know,
true.
a lot of us sometimes grew up in such a strong family connections, but I realize a lot of people don't have that.
It's true.
So to me, it's like, oh my God, like, what do you mean you don't have that? I have, after my parents-in-law died, I have the most amazing in-laws in the world. They became my parents. So I know I grew up having all that support. I had the support from my husband,
Yeah.
and everything. But I realized I was the lucky one. A lot of people don't have that.
It's true.
So how do I give back to those that don't have that? And how can I create a better bond for them and their child?
Yeah.
Because to me, growing up and creating my beautiful bond with my own children, I almost wanted to have that for everyone.
Yes. And that does.
And that's just so amazing.
That
and
that
so
is
important.
what I think breastfeeding does,
Oh,
and for you to
absolutely.
be a part of that and witness when that moment happens,
It's
because
just
it is a
phenomenal.
connection.
It is phenomenal.
Now, but breastfeeding, I know that's
It's
easier said than
difficult.
done,
It's
because I
difficult.
had a very dear friend back at Richmond who the baby did not latch on.
Sure.
And that affected her in a great, great, great way. Like,
Sure.
she got very, very, sad, and she
Mm-hmm.
struggled with that. She felt like the baby didn't love me, etc. Do you see that?
I see that
happening?
all the time.
You do?
And honestly, I work with moms all day long because, again, I'm a consultant at a pediatric practice. We're actually one of the biggest pediatric practice in most of the area, probably close to the eastern part of the Pennsylvania area. Lehigh Valley Pediatrics, Lehigh Valley Physicians Group, I should say, because we used to be ABC Family Pediatricians. Now we're called Lehigh Valley
Yeah.
Physicians Group. And there's another consultant with me. And we may see close to 30 plus women a week, each of us,
Okay.
with breastfeeding. And let me tell you, that is one of my biggest struggles, is moms come to me crying. My first thing is sitting there is trying to calm a mom down when she first walks into my room.
Aw.
And as you know, and a lot of people will know me, I'm a big hugger. I'm affectionate to people, and I love to listen. But it gets to most of my heart when I see a woman crying. I just, like, it takes me back. I'm like, oh my God, I need to hold you. I need to help you.
Yeah.
I need to do anything. But I see that as a major struggle. A lot of moms are like, well, everyone else could do it. Why is it that I'm not successful? Why is it that I can't do? But when we look at breastfeeding overall as a whole,
Yeah.
it could be so many major diversities with it. A lot of moms have major difficulties with it, but a lot of moms have major successes. But that's what I looked at. I'm like, okay, they have me, so I can help guide them. I can make them feel better about what their future plan may be. Maybe they want to pump. I can make them feel better about knowing you could give your child breast milk still.
And still
do that. You can still hold your baby skin to skin. You can still love your baby.
Oh.
How do I have a mother leave my office knowing that she can still love her child the way she should?
That there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong. And
Basically.
whatever it is, we will figure it out. And if it's not going to be as successful, let's figure it out. Let's figure out our options. But you're not going to leave my office ever feeling guilty that you could not do something that you see everyone else says that, oh, they're doing so perfect.
Yeah.
Which we know as we talk about the social media and
Not the
Facebook.
case.
Right? Everyone sees what they want you to see.
Exactly.
And I think that's what's happening in our country
good.
lately. Absolutely. All the good. that all these moms look at each other thinking, well, she could do it, why can't I?
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of moms are starting to go through a lot of these depression issues because they're seeing the limelight of everything, but not the true light of everything.
Right.
So how do
Good,
I
bad,
help
and
them
the
to-
ugly.
Absolutely.
'Cause there is some
and I have them
ugliness
see the
to
bad and ugly.
breastfeeding.
Yes.
I know that, obviously in a light conversation touching that topic, but I
Sure.
know that, it could also sometimes affect them hormonally,
Every way.
there's a benefit to breastfeeding also, right? Like it helps
Absolutely.
contract your
Your
uterus a little
back
bit
into place,
Yep.
absolutely.
So
it's
that's a
healthy
good
for
reason
moms.
to do it, aside from the
Absolutely.
nutrition that the child gets.
Healthy for moms, healthy for babies, healthy for the environment, healthy for families.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't want also a mom, if she can't successfully do it all the way, to also feel guilty. The part is we talk about this over and over again, and I think now we've actually changed our views, even with the World Health Organization. It always used to talk about all breastfeeding. Now it's actually changed its way to any amount of breastfeeding. So I tell you, I always say my success comes if I get a mother in my office
Okay.
that may not be able to fully successfully breastfeed her baby. But I tell my moms, if you can just offer your baby 1 ounce of breast milk a day, if that's all you can get, that is absolutely phenomenal. That is
Awesome.
like amazing. So that mom leaves there thinking, okay, you know what? I thought I couldn't
got
do
this.
this. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can. If I give a little bit, I can.
Right.
You know?
Awesome.
So that's where it comes down to, is making moms feel good about just anything they could do, any progress they can make.
Is
How do I
something
help them?
big.
Absolutely. How do I help them advance in that?
Right.
And if they can't, how do I still make them know they can still love their child and enjoy? And even for a lot of my moms who can't successfully breastfeed and do a little bit and do some formula. Remember, formula is not a dangerous thing, right?
No.
It's not a preferred method of feeding. We
Right.
would prefer every mother can successfully breastfeed. Just like I say to every mother, I wish I could open up my freezer and give you all this breast milk.
Yeah.
That way you don't ever have to get formula. But we know that's not feasible.
No.
If I could do that, believe me, we'd never have a baby on formula. Every single baby in this world will have breast milk if we can
Yeah.
be able to open up freezers and just grab it for them.
Yeah. And it's nice that we have the option. Do you help with the
Absolutely.
WIC process?
I do. We do.
Okay.
We actually have part of the WIC members are also part of our community and are part of coalition.
Okay.
And WIC has some amazing breastfeeding support that a lot
Yes.
of moms don't know about.
My daughter used a lot of
Yeah.
help from
And
them.
they actually do. They actually have more for breastfeeding mothers than they do for formula mothers. They help support them, with nutritional balanced diets and be able to get them more of their WIC checks to be able to buy more food so they can keep up their great diets.
Awesome.
To help breastfeed their babies.
I have a question, Leila.
Sure, dear.
First of all, how excited were you to hear about them legalizing breastfeeding publicly all across?
It was amazing when
That was a
oh,
big
It
success.
just is a huge success.
Big step.
And
big
it's just
step.
so shocking to me because when you still talk to people that are not from the United States, say, well, what do you mean you had to go through a legalization of it? Like, isn't this just something natural people do?
People were reacting
And
to
was
it like
crazy
that.
because I still till this day think about how is it that we have to put this into a law? Like,
Right.
what is it that we had to put these in laws?
There's something morally wrong with that when
It
you
is. It
gotta
just doesn't make
consider
sense.
it,
Yes.
instead of it just being
It doesn't make
naturally
sense.
assumed
Absolutely.
that it's the right thing
and we have
do.
to make sure that, workplaces had to understand that they have to, I'm like, why? What is the difficulty of this? But we understand that we're also in a country that there's so much diversity. There's so much criticism to so many different things. So having that come into the Surgeon General put the call into action about breastfeeding.
I love
and
it.
putting it into laws. I was like, oh my God, for all the lactation world.
Yes.
It was like, it was like the most
Yeah.
beautiful music we can ever hear.
Absolutely.
But even with that still there,
Okay.
we are still having diversities. So even if those laws are there, as everything else happens in this beautiful, wonderful country of ours, you still have the diversities.
Yeah.
You still have that people are like, well, it is a law, but there's also little loopholes to the law
Right.
that people can try to find.
So
And,
you're struggling with the businesses.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why this coalition came
accommodating.
into play, is because we figured, okay, yes, we would love to have every single person in this world, absolutely. But our goal is how do we connect everyone in our community, in the Lehigh Valley? Because a lot of us are here. A lot of us were born and raised here. A lot of us came here, and this became our home. So we
Yes.
wanted to create this for our community in the Lehigh Valley. How do we make it grow? How do we build it? How do we spread the word out? So even with so much of that, you still have so many struggles. And we figured, okay, how can we overcome all these struggles or help moms overcome these struggles? Which I think the main reason why even being a part of this coalition has been such a great, amazing thing for me, because I can still work in my pediatric office to do what I do and love what I do, but I'm able to also get out into the community and be able also to continue on loving what I do and spread that out even more.
And people that aren't paying attention to the news and know these
Sure.
things, for the folks in the community to know
That there are these laws.
Right, catch up with the times. You know, this is important.
Absolutely.
The moms should know that they have
Sure.
rights now.
Yeah.
You know, to
And a lot of moms
breastfeed.
don't know that. You're
Right, they
a lot of moms
feel
don't know that.
shy. They
Absolutely.
question, can I or can I not feed my child? That's why they're crying, and
And
they
everyone else
don't
is
have
making me
to
feel
question that
guilty.
anymore. Exactly, they should know that
Absolutely.
they have that right.
Absolutely. And that was the whole thing, because you are seeing a lot of moms that are like, well, I'm not going to go ask for help because I'm embarrassed, because this is supposed to be such a natural thing. If I don't know that I could do it right, then I'm a bad mother. Because I
Right.
hear a lot of moms tell me that. I don't want to go get the help, and I was afraid to ask you for help. You know, we created a wonderful thing within our practice where we connect with almost every single mom born at our hospital, which is Lehigh Valley Hospital.
Yeah.
And we try to connect with them, and some of the moms will say to me, thank you for calling me, because if you wouldn't have called me, I wouldn't have reached out, because I'm not that type of person to go get the help.
Right.
I would have just, did whatever I needed to. But
Yeah.
if they don't have family support,
Yes.
then it's not successful.
You got to help them out. I'm a
Oh, yes.
pamphlet. I'm a pamphlet mom. My kids laugh all of the time with me because whatever it is that we're dealing with, I'll go and grab all these pamphlets and be like, that's my conversation starter.
Sure.
You know what I
Yes,
mean?
absolutely.
Because for me, it's like, especially with kids, I
yes.
still remember, my mom talking. I'm just hearing wah, 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 wah. So for me, it's like, okay, here goes some facts.
Yes.
And now let's talk. Let's
Absolutely.
have the dialogue. You know what I mean? So when my daughter was a teenage mom as well. I was making sure that she was not falling into, any statistics
Yeah.
or stereotypes, just trying to help her be the best mom that she could be. That I felt like that
course.
was the first mission on board after that, to attack, you know what I'm saying, teenage
Sure.
pregnancy.
Absolutely.
And was educating her and herself getting educated. And I remember giving her just tons of pamphlets. Just let's grab all of them. How about that? But each and everyone that's listening, Leila, you obviously made a career out of it, but everybody can do little things like that.
Absolutely.
That can influence. Like my aunt, just having the conversation
That
with
is
me. You could
huge.
be
That
that
was huge.
aunt. Think about a family member that you have that maybe, is not hip to this, or is becoming a mom. Young. I'm coming from a
course.
place of that, and I want you to speak a little bit more
Absolutely.
about the stereotype and the statistics that
Yes,
you
I am
struggle
going to talk
with.
about that, sure.
But as far as for me, that's what I'm representing is the teenage mom and the lack of education and all of that. And for me, it's just like everyone should play a small role and think, and,
Yes.
and that's a good way to contribute. You could even email an article these days, or something
Everything.
that helps
Everything.
them out, But in this
Absolutely.
case, if you're in the area,
You have LVBC, Lehigh Valley Breastfeeding Coalition. You could
exactly.
go on our website, LehighValleyBreastfeeding.org, and look up Lehigh Valley Breastfeeding Coalition. We have everything.
I love
we
it.
We have support groups everywhere. I also run a support group. There are so many support groups in the Lehigh Valley Leche League. We run almost every day of the week, probably, or every other day, you could find a support group in the area. Lehigh Valley Hospital has their support groups. St. Luke's has their support groups. Leche Leagues has their support groups. Our practice has support groups. The Breastfeeding Center. Everywhere you turn, and all these support groups are free of charge. You don't have to
Nice.
pay for any of them.
They're there.
But they are there to help those moms who do need the help, or connect them together, because I always, like you said, it's very important. Yes, it came a career to me, but I feel like every time I've taught a mom, that mom has taught another mom.
Yes.
So everyone
Hopefully
can help
you're
out each other. So
creating
how do you
that.
create? And now you got that from your aunt. Now you helped your daughter.
That's
Then
right.
your daughter's like, ooh, she has her friends, one of her teenage friends pregnant. Do you know anything about breastfeeding? And it just becomes a trickling effect.
Absolutely.
And that's what's so important. So when you create this community bond, not just because, we're lactation consultants, we know what we're doing. We are there to educate, but we have peer counselors. We have mothers who are very supportive. You have business owners who own, breastfeeding businesses that say, I want to be there to help. I want
Yeah.
to be there to advocate. So then this coalition came into play because we're like, okay, how do we spread it out more?
Yeah.
How do we go out to the community? So what we do is a lot of our coalition, we do a lot of community events. Anytime there's a community event, we're on it.
Yeah.
We're like, we sit down together. We're like, okay, is this something we should do?
Let's
we just
have a
actually
presence
absolutely. We
in
just
the
did our
community.
Pat Brown event down in Bucky Boyle. And even
Sweet.
though it was more based for the younger school-age children, we had a lot of moms come by. So we're like, oh, wow, we could connect everyone. And people, even the other connections within the other businesses, they'll come by your table. They're like, oh, you're a breastfeeding coalition. Like, yes. Do you have a business? Because we created also Lehigh Valley Breastfeeding Friendly. So we go out in all these different phases. We've gone out to businesses. Which it was our first phase. So we're going around talking to business saying, do you understand the laws of breastfeeding?
Okay.
Do you know what goes on if a woman comes into your place of business and wants to breastfeed? Are all your employees understanding of it? Then we're like, okay, now, do you have a baby-friendly bathroom? Do you have a place where moms could change her
Questions
baby?
that business owners probably don't think
They
about.
don't think of. So we figured, how can we educate them?
Yeah.
So we figured, okay, if we go out and educate them, and then what I say to them, and I mentioned over and over again in our statements, is this is how you're going to create a better business for you, because now you've got more families coming in.
Yes.
Because if you talk to a lot of families, especially moms who
That's a good
breastfeed,
perspective.
they're like, oh, I don't ever want to go anywhere because I can't breastfeed in public
Exactly.
because I'm afraid of what someone's going to say.
Yeah.
Well, we tell these businesses, let us come out and we do it free of charge. Just tell us what you want. We will help you set up what you would need. We will help educate your staff if you need to.
Okay.
We'll give you the laws. Then we give them a decal with our coalition. It says breastfeeding, and they can put it on the window.
I love that.
So anyone coming by
Leila.
says, ooh, this is a breastfeeding friendly business.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there. And then we do have a thing called Hide and Go. I think Go Seek.
Okay.
And they can get their names on there and shows that they are breastfeeding
Register.
supporters and register
Okay.
on that.
So
we do
for our
that.
business owners that are listening right now, how
Yes.
can they contact
They
you?
can go under Lehigh Valley Breastfeeding Coalition.
Okay.
And they can email us right through our website.
I
so
love
they could go
that.
under LehighValleyBreastfeeding.org. All the information that they need is on our coalition website. Everything you want, how to contact us, when our meetings are. We have meetings, monthly meetings. Anyone is welcome to.
Sweet.
Where our events, upcoming events are coming at. How, we are going through these phases so they can understand what it consists of.
Okay.
Our second phase is going out to is educating. The first phase is telling them about how to help families coming in, but the second phase is educating all their staff. Big business. How do we educate their staff to teach them or help the women? That yes, absolutely. I love it.
You got
I
it?
love it.
All right.
He is the man. You
Yeah.
are the DJ.
Yeah, he's gonna load it up. That'll
That's
help
right.
people.
Always the
know where to-
outlet. Amazing
That's right.
DJ.
That's
Amazing.
right. Yes.
So then we allowed them to the next phase, as you were saying about the call into action, is women being able to pump in the workforce.
Yes.
So we tell these
Taking
businesses,
breaks.
Absolutely. So we go out and educate them as, do you know there are the laws behind there? Do you have a safe place for women to pump other than the bathroom? That's the whole thing about all this too, is everyone says, oh, well, you could go pump in a bathroom. And
It's not that easy.
It's not easy, but it's not sanitary.
Yeah.
It's not a clean place to be is in a bathroom.
That's
So-
true. There was a report that came out about the flushing and like how much
Yes.
bacteria gets
Everything.
spreaded.
Bacteria's everywhere.
Spreads every time you flush. Yeah, no,
So
you're right.
you're like, okay, you don't want them, because a lot of moms say, well, would you go eat in a bathroom? So why would you want me to pump? So we talk to them about, do you want to be able, we can help you set up a room to help your employees pump there. Because now when you have moms that go back to work, as we know as mothers, you're trying to breastfeed, you're trying to create a healthy vibe for your family.
Yes.
You're trying to also make a living. So for you to be able to keep your employee there and coming into work all the time and not have to worry about anything, you give her that ability to be able to pump at work. So when she knows she can pump at work and give her child great breast milk, which then is going to help her child to not be hopefully as sick. When in daycare, you have less sick time for your mother that won't have to take off. Yes. Yes. So you got to look at it all together.
That's right.
And then our last phase is going to daycares, because a lot of kids are back in daycare, and moms
earlier
are earlier
than normal before.
And that's what we're going to talk about soon.
Uh-huh.
But so these moms are giving breast milk to these daycares. Well, these daycares need to know, how do I handle breast milk? How do I give a baby a bottle who's breastfeeding? You know, there's certain pace feedings and we don't want to overfeed them. So that will be our last phase, is how do we educate them?
Okay.
So that's what we tend to do in our community and get out there. Every fair we could think of, we're out there with. Every community event, we will come out. We have our a scale. Yes.
You're mentioning events, everybody else's events, but I'm super excited for
About our
you because it's the first one, right?
Yes, this is our first, August 25th.
August 25th.
Lift Every Baby. And that's around Black Breastfeeding Week. Now, we usually have an event, because remember,
What's that? Black
Black
Breastfeeding Week?
Breastfeeding Week.
Okay.
So let's talk
Running out
about
of time, buddy, go
So,
ahead.
you know, August is Breastfeeding Month.
Yeah.
This whole month is Breastfeeding Month, so it's perfect to be on your show. for
Isn't
this
that
month.
perfect?
It's perfect.
Yes.
So, the beginning of the month, every week, that first week, we do what is called the Big Latch On.
Uh-huh.
That's something we've done for years. It's an international event called the Big Latch On, where you have everywhere in the world women breastfeed their babies in public, right? Because, you know, everyone's like, oh, you're breastfeeding? Like, ooh, put your boobs
Yeah, it
away.
makes
You
people
can't be
feel all kinds
breastfeeding.
of uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Even though they're not uncomfortable with the
No.
breast any other time.
No. Oh, no, you can show it all off, but that's okay. But
Right.
you have a baby on there, it's a whole new different subject, right?
Yes.
So we do that event every year, and it gets put into a system, and you look at everywhere in the world, like how many babies were out and breastfeeding. So it's almost like really going out and to show your way into the community that breastfeeding is available.
Okay.
Well, so what I looked at is we were looking at how do we also get to most of our community. So a lot of articles have come out about African American women and breastfeeding.
Okay.
So the CDC back in between 2011 and 2015 put out a statement that African American women have the lowest rates in breastfeeding initiation and breastfeeding duration.
Okay.
So I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I started seeing and I started doing more reading, and I sat around with our coalition. I said, listen, I said, there is there's this Black Breastfeeding Week that was created back, I think it's in Detroit many years ago.
All right.
That they're trying to advocate for more African American women breastfeeding because a lot of these studies and researchers have come out. So I said to our coalition, I said, why can't we do anything around Black Breastfeeding Week? Like we do the Big Latch On, why don't we do a great big breastfeeding event to help get all the mothers out there and to help advocate now for that? Because then what I started seeing is after these studies came about,
Yes.
more women, Black African American women, are breastfeeding. They are changing.
They're like,
So,
wait a minute,
yes,
we are here.
yes.
We are doing
and we
it.
could do this. So
Good.
then this is our first year we're doing this event. It's going to be on August 25th.
August 25th. Where?
At Bucky Boyle Park.
Bucky
of course.
Boyle, if you're from around the way, you know
hometown.
where
I was
that's
like,
at.
we need to be in the heart of the city. You know,
Yeah.
you had to be in the heart of the city. You cannot do something like this and be out in the outskirts,
Right.
in the suburbs.
No.
I needed to be in the heart of the
The
city.
most impactful way is
Absolutely.
right in there.
So it's August 25th from 11 to 4. I'm sorry, 11 to 1.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm getting out
That's
all
okay,
confused.
honey.
10 to 1.
10 to 1. You got it. That
And
happens
it's,
to me all the time.
Yes, girl. This is live radio also, right?
It's all
Nothing
good.
is staged here and all. I love it.
Nope.
So it's a family event, and we invite anyone to come out to that. Even though it's around Black Breastfeeding Week, it's not just for African American women breastfeeding.
It's for
Everyone
everybody.
can come out. Everyone will be able to come out to this, and it's a family event. So what we create these events as a family event, because remember, this is also a family compacted thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about the mother. It's about the father, the wife,
Yes.
the partners, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, sisters, anyone that is involved within that family
Love it.
is important to us. You know,
Yes.
it's not just about the mother themselves. We talk about this as the fathers. You know, how important they are. That is a
Right.
very important role to us. Or the partners, you know, or the same-sex partners. Like, all that is so important to us.
Absolutely.
So we said, okay, we want to create this event because we want to make it aware for around that Black Breastfeeding Week about how more African American women are breastfeeding. Can we try to get away from that? So when we looked at that, I said, okay, let's do this event. We created this event. And I said, okay, I got to get on. I got to get the news media on play. We got to get some news coverage. Because every year, I try to get news coverage. and
Yeah.
Not too
Doesn't
many people.
happen.
Doesn't happen. I'm like, you know what triggered it, right? It's because it's around Black Breastfeeding Week. So I figured, okay, I'm going to push even harder. So it was wonderful because Eve Russo from 69 News had us on her show.
Awesome.
We were able to talk about it. I just actually had an article in the Morning Call that just came out, and I think it'll be on the news today about our coalition and this event.
Yeah.
I was able to have Mike Schlossberg, who's one of our state reps. He's coming, and he's going to be talking a little bit because he was going to talk about his wife and breastfeeding.
Awesome.
Mayor is going to come and make a presentation. So what we want is anyone that is around to come around and to be there with us to help celebrate. You know, we have some fun foods and fun. Miss Caressa James may come and do a little Zumba event also for us, which is amazing because I know I saw you had her on our show. She was with you yesterday.
Yes.
We have a wonderful splash pad there for the kids to play and everything else. But the whole thing is going to be about is having us there and visibly present in our community.
Okay.
How do we then, we'll have all the information parents will need. Like people will say, oh, I didn't hear about you here. Give me some information.
Yeah.
So now we could talk about it and give the information
Sweet.
out. You know.
So we barely have as much time as we'd like.
Yes,
I want to give quick rundown. So again, where to contact the organization, this event that's coming up. Break it down quickly for the people.
Lehigh Valley Breastfeeding Coalition, LehighValleyBreastfeeding.org. You will find all our information on there. Anyone who would love to come attend our events is welcome to. Anyone who would love to become part of the coalition is welcome to. Our event is Saturday, August 25th from 10 to 1, Buckyboa Park. And it's an open free event for any family members, any advocate of breastfeeding who would love to come down, even if you're not breastfeeding your child, or grandparents who would love to learn about it. Yeah. Please come down, join us. You know, would love to have people out. Love have people spreading the word around. Go on our website, see how you can help us.
Yes.
You can use volunteers all the time.
Awesome.
We would love
Leila,
to help.
Thank
help
you.
people.
Thank you so much for the work that you're putting into the community. I know that that's probably the best thing. I always try to encourage everyone to live their best life. We were playing Live Your Life Like It's Golden, and you are doing that. Thank you. Love that. I thank you for coming onto the show, for sharing with everyone the work that you're doing. If the outlet could ever help out in any way in the future, these are relationships that we try to build on here. You have not met, there's 3 of us, and Miss Mello has a great soul. You'll get to meet her hopefully sometime in the near future when we have hopefully another event with Caressa, so that you can get in the Zumba and dance with us too. Caressa has been listening. I just want to give a shout out. Omira Soto was at our Zumba class event yesterday. Hello, Omira. Hopefully we're getting new family here for the outlet. We are with Exclusive Radio. We have one of our DJs on there, Cuzzo. What's up? Let's see, Jasmine. We have people from Virginia listening, Leila.
Hey, Virginia.
So you guys, even if you're not, even if you're not from the area, I am sure that there may be other resources in your city. Yes. Guys, you know, be a voice, be of some help in your community. Absolutely. If you need resources, look for them because they exist. You have Leilas all over the place, hopefully, and that's what counts. Yeah.
You have a lot of us.
So we've chatted enough here. Thank you again. Give me some love.
Lady DJ, you are the bomb.
Thank
you very much.
Appreciate all of you for having me.
So let's play some music. Have the folks jam out to the rest of the outlet show. Thank you guys always for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, you can inbox us. We'll get you to the right person. Within regards to the organization, LVBC. Yes, you guys are listening to the outlet, guys. Exclusive Radio, 94.9 FM. Shout out to everybody that's showing love and listening to us this morning.
Thank you.